The number one question that everyone is always asking me recently is, Ed, what is going on with your Contra Force remake? That's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to tell you why it's been put on the back burner. I'm going to tell you everything about the game and everything I have so far, so just stay with me. Now, Contra Force, the remake, and I'm calling it Contra Force Ultimate, okay, is my latest project that I am currently working on. And basically, it is a combination of everything that was great about all of the Contras, especially the ones for the Nintendo. Now, the original Contra Force, I don't know whether or not they didn't have time enough to finish it, or if it's a reskinned game of a different type of game, because it came out late in the Nintendo's lifespan, but it also doesn't really feel too much like a Contra game. If that makes any sense. Anyone who plays it knows what I'm talking about, but it's flawed. It has a lot of slowdowns. It doesn't seem like it's complete, etc., etc. It was a prime candidate to make a remake of it. So I think I should just jump into what I am changing about the game immediately. Well, I'll talk about the original and then what I have changed, maybe if you're not familiar with it. Okay, so Contra Force, you have 4 characters in it this time, instead of the usual 2 or say 1, but they're both the same in the original Contra. And you can pick which, if you want to call them soldiers, heroes, whatever, you can pick whatever one you want before the game starts. They have unique kind of weapons between them, but sometimes a lot of things about them are the same. So these are the unique things about the original Contra Force. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take it and I go, well, it's got the 4 characters. That's great. I've already done that in Castlevania. I'm going to do it again. Only this time, I'm going to make them more unique. Now, instead of selecting what character you want, and then that's pretty much who you play through those stages, I made it like Castlevania 3, where you can just switch the characters on the fly now. So I thought that was pretty cool. They kind of warp off the screen. I got this cool effect where they come up and they come down on the screen. It looks pretty cool. And now you can select any ones you want at any given time. So that was one major thing that I changed. Second thing was I wanted to make the characters more unique this time. So they all have different weapons. They all have the original starting weapon of it's your traditional Contra rifle shot, if you want to call that. They all have that. But now they all have a secondary weapon, a sub-weapon that takes ammunition, and it's usually an explosive of some kind. That's what I like about it. So some characters have the rocket launcher, some characters throw grenades, some characters have time bomb, plastic explosive, bomb guns, etc. And they all have their regular weapons, which are also unique because you could get power-ups for them like you could in the original one, but it was a little bit funky in that one, so I'm not going to get too much into it because it makes it too confusing. So in my version, you just grab your weapon power-up and your original weapon can be powered up 2 times. So for example, we'll start with Burns. And when you grab a power up for his weapon, his regular weapon, he will go to a machine gun, which none of the other characters will have. So you can hold down, you have auto fire, he shoots rapid fire machine gun, and it doesn't have any type of spread to it, but if you like the auto fire of the traditional Contra machine gun, there it is. Then if you grab another one, he still has auto fire, but now it's a flamethrower, so he's got a wider hit radius. It doesn't go as far as the machine gun, so it doesn't have the range, but it's got fantastic power because of the rapid hitting capability of it, and it's essentially the flamethrower out, more or less, out of Contra the Alien Wars for Super Nintendo. Remember I said I'm combining a lot of Contras into this. It's not just the one remake of the Force game. You're going to see a lot of things from all the Contras. So that's an example of one of the characters. Maybe I'll talk about a little bit more, but let's move on to something else, right? So on to the same subject of combining all of these Contras together. I wanted to make it where when you select what type of stages you're selecting, there's a stage select area. And if you select the first one, it's going to go through more or less all of the stages of Contra 1. And then if you pick the next one over, it's going to go through all of the stages of Contra 2. And then if you pick the third one, it's going to go through all of the stages of Contra Force. And then if you pick the final one at the bottom, which you can't pick that right away, you have to go through all of the three main scenarios at the top first before you can pick the aliens lair, which is the Red Falcon's aliens lair, which is traditionally in all of them. Now I'm going to combine all of the alien layers from all of the Contras into that one at the bottom there. So it's not like you just go through the one alien stage like you did in all the other Contras and then the game ends. No, you're gonna have to go through all of them this time. Now, other specialty things that I added to the game, because I have to add more to it, right? More content the merrier, is there are these bombs that you can get. Now, this is subject to change. I just wanted a symbol of something that you would get that everyone would kind of be recognizable right away. So you get these bombs, and it will show at the top of the screen that you do have it. And that gives you a one-time effect of like a blow everything up on the screen, total wicked, awesome war type Contra effect. And what I was thinking was, and I did get this, I didn't really get this idea from someone else, but we were kind of going back and forth on it, and I was already thinking about it in my mind about doing it anyway. And there is a famous scene in Contra Alien Wars when the what do you call it, that bomber ship comes by and it drops those napalms on the ground, they explode, and then everything catches on fire, and then you got to go through that fire part. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you could summon that aircraft anytime you wanted to, and it's gonna drop these huge bombs on the screen that are just gonna blow up everything. So that's what happens when you grab the bomb. It gives you a one-time effect of that. Now, some other people were saying, well, because there's indoor stages, how is that gonna work? So I had to change it. And so if you get it when you're on an outside stage, it does that, a cool effect. It's almost like a mode, I got the mode 7 in there kind of too, in a way, so it flies this way towards you, right? And then drops the bombs. I got another cool Contra type spacecraft or just futuristic craft to fly across the screen on the indoor stages this way now instead of coming at you. It just looks a little bit better. And it's got a huge Gatling gun on it that sort of, I got the idea from, what's the Warthog? I think it's called the Warthog. I don't know, I'm Canadian, you know, I'm trying to think of that aircraft that was supposed to be retired but never got retired, and it's like an anti-tank gun. It's a personnel support ship. But anyway, it's got this big gun. They call it the fart gun or something because it just goes brrr, brrr. That's all you hear in the air, and it just absolutely showers down these wicked bullets upon everything. It's one of the coolest guns. Anyway, I put that on the ship when it flies across the screen, and it just shoots everything. It just fires these bullets spraying all over the place. It's Contra, so it's got everything that has to be like over the top, you know what I mean? So another thing that I added to it was I added some drones that actually help you. So if you grab these drone type ships that are randomly throughout the game, just like any type of Contra weapons or power-ups would be, this teleportation warp system comes on the screen, and then you can actually see it's like they get on the radio or something like that and they call in support, and then all of a sudden you see the drone come on the screen, and he will follow you around traditionally, kind of like arcade style, sort of like R-Type in a way, I think. And he'll follow you around and he'll actually shoot bullets too. So it's just another way of just getting some more support with more ammunition. So he can't shoot in all of the different directions like you can with your player, but he will always shoot forward either left or right. So if you needed to shoot at something up, he's always going to be shooting forward. So maybe there's some soldiers that are coming along the ground at you this way, but the things you want to kill are above you. He's going to help you out because he's still going to be shooting left and right and behind you and killing those soldiers while you're killing them at the top. Now, if you die, I thought this was kind of cool. If you die and you have the drone with you, it's packed full of C4 explosives. So if you die, he explodes like boom, 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 boom with all these explosions on the screen that will kill anything else as well. So if they kill you, more than likely they're gonna die as well. I believe now there's one more thing I need to add. It's on my list, but I haven't added it yet, and that is the medical boxes. So when you get one of these first aid medical kits in the game, it will bring one of your characters back to life, because that's how it works. There's no men there's no free men or anything like that in this Contra like there are in the traditional ones. So there's no 15 or 30 men life code or anything like that. So you have 4 characters, and if one of them dies, they're pretty much dead for good until you make it to the next stage, or you get one of those medical packs. If you get one of the medical packs, it will bring those guys back to life. So that's kind of like your free man in a way. And those are pretty much, other than I've expanded all the stages, I've created new stages, I've created the bosses, and I've elaborated on them. I've added more to the bosses. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. There's a lot that I've added to this game already. But the most important thing is that the engine is complete. That takes the longest time to do. That means how everything operates, how you die, how you jump, how you interact with the walls and solid objects. The engine is done, so that's good. So now it's just content. That just means me creating the stages, balancing them out. So right now I am working on the waterfall stage that is essentially like stage 2 of the original Contra. And the reason why I've only made it that far so far and I haven't added anything to it is because I didn't have much time for it. I'm doing little bits of code here and there, but what's happening is I have clients now, and they are essentially hiring me to make custom versions of video games for them. So that takes priority over this. So I have to do that. I have to work on those. They send me, the ideas of what they want. I do some stuff with it. I create it as best I can. I send it out to them, but it's a long process because it's not just me making it. I'm making it for them. So there's a lot of back and forth. There's a lot of communication, and sometimes I make it and it's not exactly the way they want it. So they want it changed this way and that way. It's very time consuming. It's more time consuming than me just working on my own project. So sometimes it hasn't taken a complete back burner, but I've had to put it on pause, and if I ever get any little time, I put in a little bit here and there, but not enough to warrant a full update video of it. So that's basically me explaining why if you've gone to Instagram or anywhere else or my Facebook page, you haven't seen very much updates on it. But there you go. There's the answer that everybody wants. What's going on with Contra Force Ultimate? I know you want to play it. It is an awesome game. It's going to be so killer awesome when it's completed, and I can't wait to get it done. And so as long as I can finish these custom jobs for these clients, and then I can go, full bore into Contra Force Ultimate again and get it out as soon as I can. Yeah, you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great. Anybody who's a Contra fan, and I haven't really made a shooter game in before. I did make America's Retribution before, and that was pretty much my only shooter game. So this is a great opportunity for me to showcase how well I can make a Contra side scroller shoot 'em up type game, and it's coming together absolutely fantastic. So that's all I can say about it right now. And thank you everyone if you subscribed, and if you do like the content, hit that subscribe button over there. And if you do want to see other gaming projects that I have done, click over there. And that's it. Thanks a lot, guys.